Should drug addicts receive medical assistance or incarceration? This is a question many Americans often find themselves pondering. To begin with, how serious are drugs? Well, to give you an idea, every 15 minutes someone dies from drug usage. Close to 15,000 people die every year in the US due to overdoses. This includes prescription drugs. According to research, 1 in 20 people 12 and older have been reported using prescription painkillers for non-medical reasons just in this past year. That is how serious drugs are. They are addictive and they can get into the hands of anyone. So, how do we prevent re-addiction? How can we save billions? The answer is simple. Rehab. Here are some pros and cons of rehab. Pros. Saves money and addicts are more likely to stay sober. Cons. Can endanger nurses and other patients and possible run-ins with the cops. This meaning if there is an addict who is dangerous due to high levels of drugs in his or her body, it will affect the way they handle things and can endanger their nurses and other patients who are receiving treatment as well. Another issue is more run-ins with the cops. If you go to prison, you're there for however long your sentence is. However, if you receive rehab and you relapse once you're out, the cop has to deal with you again and again, which can get very irritating and at times feel as though there's no point in rehab. Rehab saves billions. Digging into the pros of rehab, how can it save billions? According to research, drug treatments are less expensive than incarceration, and costs having to do with incarceration are cut due to fewer rearrests. Another big savings is costs of law enforcement, and court costs are cut. According to research conducted by Psychiatric Services, there are 4 steps to prevent a relapse. Number 1. Learn about your triggers. Figure out the things that set you off, and make sure you avoid them. Number 2. Cope with stressors and cravings. As a previous drug addict, you will deal with cravings, but you have to learn to cope with them. Take every step one day at a time. Number 3. Think about the outcome. Before you think about relapsing, think about all the rehab and all the work you've accomplished. Do you want to throw it all away? Do you want to go through it all over again? And lastly, keep a slip up from turning into a relapse. Drug addicts are not perfect. If you slip up, don't let it turn into a relapse. Keep strong and learn to say no. What are some reasons addicts need treatment and not jail time? According to Sunset Malibu, a rehab center, there are 5 reasons why addicts need treatment and not jail time. Number 1. Prison doesn't treat addiction. Drug abuse is different than stealing a car or robbing a store. Addiction is not a one-time bad choice. It is a mental health issue that cannot be treated by punishment. Even though going to prison may help detox an addict, prison does not address the reasons an addict is using and does not provide resources so the addict can maintain recovery after incarceration. Number 2, prison worsens trauma. Being incarcerated is traumatic. Serving time in prison for addicts is more likely to compound the trauma that makes many addicts want to use in the first place. Number 3, prison isolates addicts from their support networks. There are many things that help maintain a drug-free life, such as being close with a loved one or having a job. These things can help their recovery, but if they are incarcerated, addicts do not get these benefits. Number 4, courts can guarantee financial coverage for rehab. A court mandate that an addict should go to rehab can ensure that treatment is received. And lastly, number 5, treatment is close to justice than prison. When people think of prison, they think of punishment. But do they think about justice too? Sending an addict to rehab instead of prison decreases the likelihood they will be arrested again. With this being said, it is only the court intervention that is actually just.